We gotta send everything that way. Lorthos trigger, there it is. We get to tap 8 things. Mimic.
Today on Commander Replay, we check out Lorthos the Tidemaker and see how many of our opponent's permanents we can tap down. Next on Commander Replay. Hey guys, help support me and save 15% on singles by using the promo code REPLAY at mothershipaTX.com. Commander Replay t-shirts, available in orange and colors beside orange.
Welcome back, everyone. Playing some Lorthos the Tidemaker today. Take a look at this opener. It kind of doesn't do much, so let's mulligan that into... I guess it's fine. It draws cards. Was ideally hoping for some ramp. So there's been an incredible shortage of blue decks on the channel lately, and I decided that I wanted to play something blue, and I wanted to play something fun. So here we are with this Lorthos deck, a commander that I have not attempted in many, many years, way before the channel started. So hopefully we can do some cool things today, tap down our opponent's stuff, and attack with a giant octopus. We'll keep this hand. It's fine enough. So it brings it to our turn 1. There's an island. We can just play this tapped if we want. Yeah, that's fine. And we'll pass like that. Amulet of Vigor coming in for opponent. Lands for opponents. And brings it back to our turn. Another island. Lands are fine. This deck needs a lot of mana to operate. So yeah, we'll play a land. We'll pass. Tap land comes in untapped because of the amulet. So let's take a look at our commander as an Esior comes in. Playing Lorthos the Tidemaker. 8 mana for an 8/8. Whenever it attacks, you may pay 8. If you do, tap up to 8 target permanents. Those permanents do not untap during their controller's next untap step. Kinda nasty if you can use the ability, but slow and mana intense. I'm sure opponents will be doing everything in their power to not let that happen. Another island. You probably could have used something other than an island. We still need more mana before we can scry. Next turn we can play the Plea for power, but we'd probably have to discard to hand size since we haven't cast anything yet. So play a land and pass. We'll take a look at what our opponents are playing today. First up, we have Delta Fiend piloting Esior Wardwing Familiar and Toggo Goblin Weaponsmith. Esior says, flying, spells your opponent's cast that target 1 or more commanders you control cost 3 more, and it partners. And Toggo says, whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, create a rock. With equipped creature has, pay 1, tap it, sacrifice the rock. This creature deals 2 damage to any target. Looks like some sort of like blue-red artifacts, maybe? I'm not sure. We'll see what they're up to. Here comes Toggo. Yep. There's an Oloro trigger for opponent, gaining that life. And they did get poked by the Esior for 1, and rightfully so. Oloro gains life like there's no tomorrow. Kind of a broken ability. 6 mana 4/5 at the beginning of your upkeep, you gain 2 life. And at the beginning of your upkeep, if Oloro is in the command zone, you gain 2 life. And then whenever you gain life, if it's in play, you may pay 1. If you do, draw a card and each opponent loses a life. Yeah, it was, years ago, it was a really nasty control deck. Just a nightmare facing Oloro. It was so hard to kill. Because, like, the thing that you would do, having lots of creatures to do a lot of damage to them, they would just run a ton of removal, and you would never get it through. And kind of a nightmare. A lot of bad memories facing Oloro decks. Opponent gets themselves a Burnish Heart. That's some pretty good ramp. I'm jealous. Yeah, we're kind of stuck here. There's a Mystic Sanctuary, drawing the wrong portions of our deck. Play the island. So, I mean, if we play the Plea for power, we're going to have to discard 2? I don't really want to discard 2. But, on the other hand, we have 4 lands. Okay, yeah, we can discard 2 lands, especially if we run into another land. We have flooded. Let's see if anyone goes for time. I doubt they will, but, you know, kind of just need to do something. There's some cards we can actually cast, so we'll discard some islands right here. Finally finding some of the lower costed stuff in our deck. Landfall trigger for opponent. Comes in untapped. Gets a rock. Opponent gonna poke us for 1. Yep. Opponent gets themselves a wizard class. Oh yeah. Yeah, that could probably be a cool card for this deck. No max hand size. They're gonna level it to level 2. When this class becomes level 2, draw 2 cards. Yeah. Nice little card draw spell, mixed in with no max hand size. Those are both things you want in blue decks. Whenever you draw a card, put a +1/+1 counter, is the level 3 ability. Firemaker was trying to convince them all to take the extra turn. The drawing the extra cards is much safer than the turn. I mean, the turn probably doesn't actually do that much for us, but it would get us an extra land. Extra land and an extra draw. Anyway, it brings back to our turn. Let's play an island. We draw another island. Yeah, kind of flooding a little bit, but finally have some things we can cast, so that's exciting. Let's get the Mind Stone, and then cast the Rhystic Study. Opponent gonna poke the Vaevictus opponent. Our final opponent is Dewubber piloting Vaevictus Asmadi the Dire, a commander that I don't care for that much because of the repeatable removal. It's like, oh, you have something you want in play? Nope, it goes away now. Did you kill the Vaevictus? Because it happens again the next turn. Yeah. Vaevictus is a little strong, a little bit punishing. Just not my favorite thing to face. I know I've played it a bunch on the channel, but I'm kind of over it. You know, this deck is full of big sea creatures. I'd prefer not to lose them to a Vaevictus trigger. I would prefer that happens. We have a Lazotep plating, so that is something nice. We can protect our stuff a little bit, but, you know, there's only so many of these in the deck. Oloro continuing to gain life. Leyline of Anticipation coming in for opponent. That'll go into our Rhystic Study. They do have the 1-up, though. And they'll pay. Opponent cracks the Burnish Chart at the end step. Yep. Signet into the Rhystic Study. They pay. Rude. Thinking about Mystic Sanctuary for Plea for Power. Just to kind of keep things going. Hua Tuo, Honored Physician. Put target creature card from your graveyard on top of your library. Activate only before attackers. Interesting. Out of, what is that, Commander 2013, I think? There's a Slinvoda. That is a creature that bounces things when that becomes relevant. So, yeah, I think let's do the Mystic Sanctuary thing. I know we could save it, but I just want to keep things moving. So, Mystic Sanctuary comes in. We'll get the Plea for Power back. Opponent's going to cycle a land. Use the ability. Oh, it goes back on top. Right. Well, we crack the Mind Stone, but I kind of want the ramp. To be quite honest. We have 7 mana, which is 1 short of what we need for Lorthos. Unfortunate. Yeah, cracking the Mind Stone seems bad. But, whatever. It'll be fine. Crack the Mind Stone. Cast Plea for Power. We started on the plan. Might as well continue on the plan. We'll try time again. Doubt they give us the turn. They gave us the turn! Oh my god. Well then. Let's go to our next turn. Hopefully we get something we can cast. Scourge of Fleets is a card we can cast, although not that many creatures on the battlefield, so... Still annoying, though. Yeah, maybe we wait till the Vaevictus comes down. Yeah, I think we're going to do that. So we'll probably just scry with the castle. I think that's the best thing we have going. Ether Spouts if we really need to. And pass like that. Opponent's going to cycle more lands. Opponent going to swing our way for 1. Yep, nothing we can do about it. Or at least nothing worth doing anyway. Oloro continuing to gain life. This is a Scry 2. Scry 2 is, like, decently powerful. This is the type of thing that, like, could kind of get us out of our jam a little bit if we hit right. Scry 1 is cool, but doesn't always get you exactly where you want to go. Scry 2 can, you know, get you past a pocket of lands or something like that, which is kind of what we need. Opponent plays a land and passes. True control style right there. We got 2 control decks at the table. We're not really a control deck. I mean, we're blue. So there are elements of that, but, you know. I guess with all the creature bounce, we could kind of fall into the category a little bit of a control deck. Definitely annoying. Definitely could be really annoying to play against. Scroll Rack for opponent into the Rhystic Study. Continuing to pay. Opponents are so rude. We have not drawn a single card off Rhystic Study yet. That is really disappointing. If we bounce all this stuff, we might be able to get some card draw. We need some creatures in play that we can bounce. Because then they'll be in the scramble to have to recast stuff. Right now, there's, like, no pressure on the board to do anything. There's an Elemental Bond. Yeah, still leaving the 1 floating. Ugh, opponents are killing me. We'll scry right now with all the stuff on the stack just so we can have 6. And Delta's going to cycle another land. Myriad Landscape is ramp. Archaeomancer is a way to get that Plea for Power back. How do we draw both? I guess we'll draw the Archaeomancer first. Because then when we draw with the Plea for Power... Actually, we need to have enough mana to do that. 4. Yeah, we'll have exactly enough. Myriad Landscape the following turn. Brings it back to our turn. There's the Archaeomancer. Play an Archaeomancer. Get back the Plea for Power. Play an island. Play the Plea for Power. Plea for Power number 3. Let's do it. I'm going to go Knowledge. The extra turn is fine right here. I kind of just want the cards. They gave us the cards. Fantastic. There's another piece of ramp. We got some ramp finally. So next turn will be the ramp turn that we've been needing to have for 8 turns at this point. Well, I guess we won't be able to crack the landscape. We'll be able to play it, but we'll be able to kick the Skyclave Relic, and that should be a good thing. We have a blocker in play too, just in case someone wants to drop down something big and nasty. Although, with all the bounce, we might want to try to keep this alive. Oh, yep, never mind. It's going to die right now. Bummer. So I was just thinking, if we Scourge of Fleets, that would get bounced, and then we could do it again. It's unfortunate. Soul Ring. Pays. Armillary Sphere. Pays. Cracks the Armillary Sphere. Underrated card. People should be running this more. Landfall. Equip the rock to the Toggo. Let's see what Firemaker's got at the end step here. Oh, right, he's got a thing. He could have everything. He could be everything at the end step. Bantu's Monument pays. They still have a ley line of anticipation, so they play a land and pass. Burnish Chart. Didn't they already cast a Burnish Chart? Oh, right, this thing. Oh, that seems really good. Yeah, that's pretty good. We finally get to draw with the Rhystic Study. There's a Pongify. Yeah, we may need to do something about this thing, just because getting back a Burnish Chart every turn is really powerful. If you crack a Burnish Chart 2 or 3 times in a game, like, you are probably leading on lands by a significant amount. I had a game with the Angel Reanimator once where all I had was Burnished Heart and Dawnbreak Reclaimer and just kept doing that every turn. I think I had like 12 lands by turn 7 or 8 or something like that. It was ridiculous. Cracks the Burnished Heart again. Yep. They did not, however, activate this thing again, which has to be done during their turn. Brings it back to our turn. There's a Tectonic Edge. Play the Myriad Landscape. Kick the Skyclave Relic. Opponent continuing to cycle lands. Skyclave trigger. Those come in tap. Man, this thing would be insane if they came in untapped. 3 mana left. Sit on a Pongify, sit on a Lazatep Plating, I think is the plan here. So we'll pass like that. Opponent draws a card with the Mind Stone. Retreat to Coral Helm. Whenever a land enters, you may tap or untap target creature or scry one. That'd be pretty good for us if with all the lands we've been playing this game, because that's mostly all we've done. Landfall trigger, Toggo, and Retreat. So some sort of like blue-red landfall deck, I think is what they're doing. Still haven't seen the full theme emerge yet, though. I don't think. Ew, Field of the Dead. Gross. That's kind of OP. That's how you make a landfall deck work. One of the things that always comes up when people are like, unban Primetime, is that Primetime and Field of the Dead were never legal at the same time, and if people are getting Field of the Dead, which they will be, just one more reason to never ever want to see a Primetime again. Wizard Spellbook at the end step for opponent. Interesting. We'll get to draw with the Rhystic Study. It's a Gauntlet of Power. That's some much needed mana ramp. Take a read of this thing, 7 mana, tap it, exile target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard, roll a d20, activate only as a sorcery. 1 through 9, copy that card, you may cast the copy. 10 through 19, copy that card, you may cast the copy by paying 1 rather than paying its mana cost. 20, copy each card exiled with Wizard Spellbook, you may cast any number of copies without paying their mana cost. They're going to exile our Plea for Power, don't love it, don't love it. That's any graveyard? Ugh. Yep, they're gonna cast our Plea for Power. Does it get exiled after? Probably. Pays for the Rhystic Study. He just hit a 20? Wow, he just hit a 20. Only 1 spell, though, thankfully. I'm going Knowledge. Rather give them the cards instead of the extra turn. Yeah, they get the cards. Strip Mine. Hopefully they want to park that on this Field of the Dead. What's annoying is there's so much ramp in this deck, and we have just proceeded to miss most of it. Finally got the Skyclave. Mind Stone was about the only thing we saw early. I'd be so happy if we had like a Burnished Heart somewhere along the way. Just feel better when I crack a Burnished Heart. Here comes the Vaevictus. We get to draw. There's an island. They get to draw a card with the Elemental Bond. Ooh, he's going to give it haste. I think I'm okay with this. He'll probably shoot our Rhystic Study, but Firemaker's got some nasty stuff in play, like Leyline. This Wizard's class is going to be a thing soon. The Wizard Spellbook. So like, I'd like to see at least one of those go down right here. So I think I'm going to let this happen. I'll trade in our Rhystic Study. We've drawn some cards now. I feel okay about what's in our hand. I mean, obviously I'd like to draw more, but I think we do need to save the Lazatep Plating just to keep our commander alive, because that thing is going to be a massive target. Opponent's going to Scroll Rack, yep, just to make it good. This turn might also be like Gauntlet of Power or Scourge of Fleets or something like that. Bounce land for opponent. Vaevictus trigger. Let's see what they're hitting. Is this a destroy or was it sacrifice? Sacrifice those permanents, yeah. Gets around the Skyclave Relic. No, they're going to go for a Skyclave Relic. Interesting. Leaving the Rhystic Study. Goes for the Wizards class. I personally probably would have went for the Spellbook right there. That thing seems kind of wild. And a rock. Opponent is actively trying to turbo up the game, they said. So they went for the least needed permanents. Okay. Might have preferred it had gone the other way on that. I'm going to Strip Mine the Field of the Dead. Can appreciate that. They will get 1/2/2 though. I like that also because now we don't have to do it. We've been struggling on mana a little bit, and I would love to not have to sacrifice our Tectonic Edge to do it. There's a Dictate of Erebos into play. Those are a problem. What did we get off the thing? Oh, we got an island. Still short of activating the castle, though. It's unfortunate. Dictate's kind of scary. I'm pretty sure I forgot to put enchantment removal in this deck. I guess there's a Cyclonic Rift, but that is not permanent removal. Dictate is sort of an issue. That's hard to protect against. There's another island. The flooding continues. Let's crack this Myriad. Nope, let's not do that. Let's get the Gauntlet of Power into play. Choosing blue. Now let's crack the Myriad Landscape. Try to pull some lands out of this deck. Seems like all we can draw. Let's drop a Slyn Voda, I think. Play an island. I don't think I like the direction opponent's taken with this Vaevictus, so we're going to drop a Slyn Voda. Slyn Voda on the stack. Opponent's going to cycle. Here's the ETB. Bounce the creatures. Cycle's another land. Cycle's a mountain. Opponent said they reorganized their deck wrong with Scroll Rack. It's a little weird on Magic Online. Cycle's a Field of Ruin. Esior Wardbring Familiar coming back. They pay. Toggo coming back. Pays again. Oloro Breeze Caller. Return a land you control to its owner's hand. Untap target land. I'm sure that gets silly. Cleric class for opponent. Pays for the study. Pretty solid card. If you would gain life, gain that much +1. The level 2, whenever you gain life, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. Good for life gain decks. And level 3, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. You gain life equal to its toughness. Pretty sweet. There's Rogue's class, so it looks like opponent's doing all the classes for their available colors. Upgrades Rogue class to level 2. Creatures at menace. Vaevictus coming back. Yep. This I would protect to keep alive. Doesn't pay. We get to draw. Raven form. Can exile an artifact. That'll probably need to happen. That's an artifact. I will feel a lot better if that goes away. I guess we could also exile the Vaevictus, which would prevent Dictate from triggering. Could be relevant. I think Fire is thinking about a counterspell. I actually wouldn't mind if this gets countered, because then gets a counterspell out of the hand. Hopefully they don't have more, but should allow us to try to get some stuff through. We have a couple counterspells in the deck. I would feel a lot better about life if we could draw one of them. Opponent's going to draw. Haste on the Vaevictus. Skyclave Relic into the Rhystic Study. We draw again. There's a Propaganda. That's helpful, actually. Opponent activates a Scroll Rack. Yep. Vaevictus over to Firemaker. At least it'll get some damage on them. Vaevictus trigger. Yeah, we got to protect the Gauntlet of Power right here. So we're going to Lazotep Plating. And actually, the Amass 1 is going to be helpful against the Dictate. Hope this doesn't get countered, actually. It resolves. Land over there. And what did they get? A Grave Betrayal. Ugh. Yeah, that's bad. Lightning Greaves off the top would actually be kind of sweet, because then potentially Lorthos and Greaves and tap a bunch of stuff that we don't want untapping. Brings it back to our turn. There's a Whelming Wave. Not that helpful. Not that helpful. Play an island. We have more bounce than we know what to do with. We need enchantment removal. Swing into Firemaker. Oh, you know what we could do? We could potentially scry with the Mystic Sanctuary. Yeah, maybe we'll just shoot that at some point. Gonna Raven form on the Wizard's Spellbook. See if this baits out a counter. Opponent's gonna untap a land. Cycle a land. That goes down, thankfully. If we try our commander, it's probably going to get countered, but I'm still gonna try it. We have doubled mana, so now's the time to do it. We may even be able to recast it if they do. It resolves. Well, let's get a Propaganda then. And I guess we leave some stuff up. I don't think Scourge of Fleets gets us exactly where we want to go. Does this exile the creature? No, it just returns it to the battlefield. So Lorthos is in play. Now the trick is untapping with it and keeping all of our mana production. Saratmi Cloud Skater. Oh yeah, more landfall tricks. More landfall tricks. Continuing to pay into the Rhystic Study. Discard a card, then draw a card. Saratmi Rainshaper, return more lands. Yep, definitely is it landfall. Was that ridiculous card, Royal Elemental? Watch out for that one. They eventually run into that thing. That'll be scary. I don't know if there's great landfall cards in red. Morog is probably the best one. Other than that, though, because that one's new, I think out of the first two Zendikar blocks, I don't know if there's anything really impressive. I guess Valakut, but I don't know if they're doing a Valakut thing here. I've definitely looked through the landfall creatures a number of times, especially for Boros, and the ones I'm thinking of especially are the ones in the second Zendikar block that the landfall cards were not great in that block. I feel like Amaria Shepherd's the only good one. Hama, Pashor Runeseeker coming in. Okay. Room abilities of dungeons you own trigger an additional time. They have no dungeons yet. Oloro, continuing to gain life. 2/2 menace flying over our way, that's fine. They want to pay? They want to pay for the Propaganda? They do. I'm happy if they want to sink that mana into Propaganda. They don't have a ton of mana over there. They've fallen behind in the mana production a bit. So, they want to pay 2 for 2 damage? Love it. Oh yeah, that's 2 rogue class triggers. We can do is scry in response to that. Make sure they get a land and not something more valuable than that. Solemn Simulacrum, Diluvian Primordial. Both cards that I want, but to the bottom they go. We probably could have given them the sad bot, honestly, but... So, 2 cards get exiled. They're face down. Secret Door, Montu's Monument, Rhystic Study. Solemn Simulacrum for opponent. Opponent's paying. Sad bot trigger. Mimic Vat, kinda gross. Kinda gross. I wanted to get a Blackblade Reforged into this deck, but I didn't quite find the room for it. Go to begin combat. Shoot the Vaevictus. That'll trigger Elemental Bond, Dictate, and Mimic Vat. I hope opponent doesn't shoot our zombie army. They definitely could. Sacrifice the zombie army. Nice. Think our big stuff's gonna survive. Man, Lazotep plating is so good. Great Betrayal triggers a bunch of times. That's bad. Hope that counterspell shows up soon. I feel a lot better about things. Oh, they come back at the end step, right? They come in tapped? No, they just come back at the end step. Oop, opponent accidentally yielded through their combat. They were going to try to Mimic Vat the Vaevictus and still get a Vaevictus. Lucky for us that didn't happen. Scroll Rack. Here come the Great Betrayal triggers. Gets the Aboro Breeze Caller. Brings it back to our turn. I'm going to Scry. Need our draws to get a little better here. See if we can find a counterspell to prevent whatever nastiness our opponents are going to do. Engulf the Shore, not helpful. Both of these to the bottom. That's an Immortal Sun. That's a pretty good card. Play an island. Do we just play the Whelming Wave? Yeah, maybe we just play the Whelming Wave. Clears out all the blockers. That way, even if something gets shot, we still get damage through. I like that. One's gonna discard and draw. Yep. Cycle a land. Creatures get bounced. Let's do some attacking. The Dictate and the Grave Betrayal are very serious problems for us, so we gotta send everything that way. Lorthos trigger, there it is. We get to tap 8 things. Mimic, Scroll Rack, Hainware, Carnarium, that thing, this Soul Ring, couple lands over here. That seems good. We're gonna pay 8. Opponent floats what looks like Teferi's Protection mana, although maybe just trying to get the mana. Yeah, trying to get the mana before it goes away on them in response to the tap. Part the Veil. Return all creatures you control to their... Wait, return all creatures you control to their owner's hand. That triggers the Rhystic Study. That doesn't affect us at all. Draw with Rhystic Study. It's a Serpent of Yawning Depths. Opponent takes a big hit, goes down to 16. We'll get this Immortal Sun into play. How much is this thing? Can we get this? I don't know if we can. Maybe we can. Yeah, we can. We have exactly enough. All right, we're going to get that into play because of the Dictate and all that stuff. Hopefully opponent doesn't, like, wipe the board and then get all of our stuff. That would be bad. Pass like that. I think the first time we've been able to tap out, at least in a long time. Vandal Blast, and we get crushed. Immortal Sun, Gauntlet of Power, going to go away. Definitely wanted those. Definitely wanted those, but... the restricted mana will hopefully get people to cast stuff into our Rhystic Study now. I feel like there was almost no removal for like the first 10 turns of this game. It was such a slow-moving game that just, there weren't really threats worth answering. Opponent's still paying on the Rhystic Study. Mimic Vat's gone. That's good. Oh! Mimic Vat leaves Vaevictus in the exile zone. Opponent no longer has their commander. That's nasty. That Lorthos trigger may be good enough, because Fire's only got 4 mana now, and, you know, removal spells he can certainly cast, but he can't make, like, a big game-winning play on that. I guess he can cast a board wipe. Heartless Summoning, weird. I have no idea what he's really going for over there. Rhystic Study? We draw. Armillary Sphere. Ooh, the Scroll Rack's gone, too. Hama coming in. We draw again. Land. Solemn Simulacrum coming in for opponent. Triggers the Rhystic Study. They pay. They get a land. I think they said they have all lands in hand. It's not great for them. Mazarek is a card. They pay. This is an interesting card out of newer Theros. Krakens, Leviathans, Octopuses, and Serpents you control can't be blocked except by Krakens, Leviathans, Octopuses, and Serpents. Kind of fun. I like the flavor of that. Opponent sacrifices a land, gets a counter on the Mazarek. Yep. Opponent's gonna Rapid Hybridize on our Lorthos. That's unfortunate. We have to spend a crap ton of mana trying to recast that. Back to the command zone. Our mana doubling is gone, unfortunately. I think I'm gonna... Ooh, the Scry is a lot more costly now. We'll skip the Scry. We have things we can do, so... there's the Negate we've been looking for. That would have been great for the Vandal Blast, but... a little bit late. I think we just go to combat first. We won't be able to kill the Wubber. Can put him to 2. See if anyone else wants to finish the job. Let's play the Tectonic Edge right here. Our mana doubling is gone. Tough call. If Jeff went down right here, I would recast Lorthos because we can protect it with the negate. But with Dictate and Grave Betrayal still in play, you know what? I think it's a commander, so they won't gain control of our commander, I guess. So I guess we're doing it. Recast Lorthos. Oh, we can also cast the Watcher for tomorrow, which just gives us sacrifice fodder in case they try to get tricky with stuff. Yeah, cast the Watcher for tomorrow. Hideaway. Quicksilver Amulet, Strionic Resonator, Counterspell, Mage's Guile. Strionic Resonator would be fun. Probably needs to be the Counterspell. And then we'll cast the Armillary Sphere. And we'll sit on a negate, pass like that. Grave Betrayal trigger. Cloud Skater coming back. Opponent leaving up some mana over there. Also, Toggo is back. Oloro continuing to gain life, still at 47, even though we punched them a little bit. Ugh. This is not like a high damage output type of deck. It's more about controlling the game, and they're just like, they're doing everything the opposite of what our deck is able to handle. Spells, enchantments, not really committing a ton of creatures to the board. This deck can bounce creatures like there's no tomorrow. That's not really opponent's game plan, and their life total's super high. It'll take us a while to chew through it. I think there's been 0 enchantment removal this game. All the enchantments have just stayed in play. Rhystic Study, basically the only thing keeping us going at this point. Secret Door, we can venture into the dungeon. That's fine. Pays. They're going to venture into the dungeon. Sure. They get to do it twice because of the Hama. Mission accomplished. So they gain 1 life twice. And actually that life will be doubled, so they're going to gain 4 life. Up to 50. Ooh, opponent's going to activate the Scavenger Grounds. Exile all graveyards. Yep, another counter on the Mazarek. Graveyard's going away. Don't have a ton of graveyard stuff in this deck. I think the Archaeomancer was about it, so I don't think that's too big of a deal for us. Probably better to get our opponent's graveyards gone. Don't know if they have something big. They're going to Field of Ruin our castle. Yeah, I guess that happens. Probably should have floated the mana. Whoops. Oh, still time. Float the mana. Does one put it in untapped? I think it does. Get an island. Our opponents need that land badly. They have fallen behind in the later portion of the game here. Yeah, it does bring it in untapped, which means we can use the Armillary Sphere while still leaving up the negate. So we'll do that right now. Toggo will make another rock. Mazarek will trigger again. I mean, Mazarek's starting to get kind of large now. And it's flying, so, like, we're just going to have to take it. Get 2 more islands. Finally starting to thin out the basics a bit. Hopefully bettering our draws as we try to finish out this game. Gonna give opponent's creature haste. Sure. Signet. Pays. Opponent's got 2 7/7s over there. Mazarek is a crazy commander. You don't see it because it came out, I think, in the same set as Marin. And Marin just kind of overshadows literally everything else in green-black. But Mazarek is actually really cool. Yeah, opponent's gonna send both our way. Thought that might happen. Oh, nice! They tapped out the mana. Ha! Propaganda. Propaganda got them. They tapped out all their mana so they could F8, but yep, that's a misplay right there. Can't undo that. There's a Reliquary Tower. Play the Reliquary Tower. Let's go to combat. Watcher into Dewubber. I think everything else into Firemaker. They scare me the most. Go to combat. A Lorthos trigger number 2. I actually didn't think we were going to get that one. 1 Lorthos trigger seems like the most you'll reasonably get in a game. If that, because people really don't want that to happen. We tap down a bunch of stuff. Down goes Dewubber. We cut Firemaker in half. It goes down to 25. Not bad. Not bad. All right. Not much else to do. We will pass like that. This game has been very long and very slow. If you look at my remaining clock, we're down to 24 minutes. That is unusually slow. It's because we're playing blue and we need to hold up priority on everything, and it makes everything take so much longer. Especially with all these like cycle triggers and stuff like that. Ugh. That might be one of the reasons I don't play blue all that much either, because it's just slow to play. Opponent's got an Izzet Charm. They're going to draw 2, discard 2. Opponent said by paying the study, they cut themselves off of a nice play that they could have made. Yeah, it can do that. Frantic Search. Pays for the study. Opponent's going to venture into the dungeon. Sure. They get to scry twice. Zombie Ogre. At the beginning of your end step, if a creature died this turn, venture into the dungeon. Interesting. Rhystic Study. Pays for it. Our opponents have been really disciplined about paying for the Rhystic Study this game. They have been all over it. I don't know, what have we drawn? Maybe 5 or 6 cards in a 14-turn game? It's not how you draw it up when you put it in the deck. That's for sure. There's another land. Play a land. Go to combat. See if we can take out Firemaker. Double check, make sure this is enough damage. That's 16, 22, 25, 27. He's going to survive at 1, really. That's what we're doing. Yeah, this deck's not so much with the punching power. Lots with the tapping power, though. Lorthos trigger number 3. It's at least 2 more than I thought we would get. Opponent's going to bring in a Patron of the Moon. Interesting. Put up to 2 land cards from your hand onto the battlefield tapped. I'm sure that's going to do some weird stuff. We get to draw with the Heuristic Study. It's a Mage's Guile. We can give a creature Shroud. It's also helpful. I'm worried that this might combo somehow. So I actually might drop down the Scourge of Fleets after. Pay 8 for the Lorthos. Firemaker survives at 1. We'll play the Scourge of Fleets because I'm nervous about this Patron of the Moon. And then we'll leave up Negate and Mage's Guile. All the creatures get bounced. Pass like that. Delta says, who here remember that offering allowed casting at instant speed? Not me. I forgot that. That's going to be a Warp World, and that's going to be a no thanks from us. I see what they're going for. So generate as many permanents as possible, then play a Warp World. Let's negate that. Pays for the study. Hama coming back. Opponent gains some life back up to 4 because of all their abilities. Not paying for the study. Love it. Land. Secret Door. Coming back. Heuristic Study. Opponent's going to venture into the dungeon. Sure. Target creature can't attack until your next turn. That's not great. They can do that twice. Will slow us down. 1 for Lorthos. 1 for Lorthos. Oh, we're not going to get that 4th Lorthos trigger. Oh, we could have shrouded that. I guess it's fine. Doesn't actually remove it. What happens if we kill them? How does that effect work? Because they'll never have another turn? Let's find out for science. There's a Sapphire Medallion. Play an island. Play the Sapphire Medallion. This is a Kraken, and Krakens are unblockable, so we'll go to combat. Attack Firemaker with that. Everyone else at Delta. Pretty good sea creature army going. We got Lorthos, Slinvoda, and Scourge of Fleets. And the Serpent of Yawning Depths. Lots of sea creature flavor happening. Love it. Yeah, we don't really have much of a follow-up. It seems that the thing has come off of our creatures, so they should be able to attack. Endless Atlas. Heuristic Study. Homeward Path. Delta kind of upset that we counter the Warp World, but I'm pretty sure Magic Online would crash if we Warp World right now. This game's been going on so long. The client's been very unstable. Something like a Warp World going off. I can't imagine that goes well, so. Beyond just losing all of our stuff, which I'm not interested in doing, probably also makes the difference between this game crashing and not crashing. And also, like I said, this game's been going on a really long time, so it needs to end at some point. There's a Moloku. Yep. Heuristic Study. Nykthos. More mana. Brings it back to our turn. There's a Cryptic Command. Play the Nykthos. Go to combat. Oh, I guess that's a 4th counterspell. Send it. Lorthos trigger number 4. Let's get all the lands. Get that creature. We'll make a bunch of mana with the Nykthos. Oh, it's going to make a 1-1. Not ideal. Another 1-1. One more 1-1. Lorthos trigger. Let's play the Cryptic Command, tap their creatures, and draw a card. And this should be lethal. Down they go! 17 turns. What a long game. Lorthos, cool, but really slow. Wins the game by locking everyone out. We got a lot more Lorthos triggers than I thought we would, which is cool, because, you know, when you play a commander like this, you're like, how many times can you realistically untap and pay 8 with this thing? Turns out, more than I thought. So here's a look at the deck list. The other way to probably go about this is just to make like a really low curve, like counterspell heavy kind of thing, and just play like a hard control game with very few creatures, and basically Lorthos as your top end, and then, you know, trying to like suffocate the board that way. Probably not a particularly good time for your opponents, but it would be interesting to take that out for a spin and see what like a really pushed Lorthos deck would look like. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. As always, feel free to comment, like, or subscribe. Thank you for watching.
I want to thank my awesome Patreon supporters. You guys are awesome. If you want to help support the channel and vote on which decks I play next, feel free to check out my Patreon, the link below.